People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Welcome to Wheel of Horror Spring into Action Edition, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week, it chooses the action movie, and they discuss it. Today we're talking about the 2014 film John Wick, which was directed by Chad Stahelski. I'm your co-host Alec.
I'm Erik, and with us is Billy Bayne again. Welcome back to the show, Billy.
Thrilled to be back, gentlemen. Thanks for having me. And does anybody not love this movie? I could talk about it all day.
I know, this was like the movie that I feel like every single person when they saw the wheel, they're like, hey, can we do John Wick? Hey, can we do John Wick? And like, you were the first one, Billy, so I feel like a lot of people are pissed right now.
There's plenty of Keanu to go around. Relax.
Yeah, I would have done Point Break, too. Older classic.
I know, the action movies, people are like fighting over them. It's kind of nice to be like, God damn it, like so many people are pissed. Yeah, this movie's like, I think this is the best Keanu Reeves movie. I'm just gonna say it. It's
a lot. It's one of them. I think one of the best ones he's done since Matrix.
I would agree too, because after Matrix, since the early 2000s, he had like a 10-year stretch there where he really didn't make a good movie. I feel like.
Thank you, Billy. This is what I was saying in the Point Break episode, Erik.
No, I know. I mean,
he had his run in the 90s and the early 2000s with like the Matrix, and then like Constantine, which I actually kind of liked. A lot of people don't, but he had a long stretch where he really didn't make anything good. And then when this movie came out, I don't know, for me, it was kind of out of left field. Everyone said, you have to see this movie. It's incredible. It's awesome. And I mean, yeah, totally just, I think, revitalized his career.
Well, you mentioned the director, Chad Stahelski. He was a stunt double in the Matrix movies.
Right.
So that's such a cool little fact that he went from a stunt double to directing Keanu in the Matrix, you know?
Dude, and the fact that he directed all three of the John Wick movies, I really like that. Like he's like, this is my trilogy. Like I'm very protective of it. I hope, because I know they're making 4 and 5. They're just going full hardcore into it. And I hope he directs those ones too.
These are actually the only 3 movies he's ever directed too, which make it even more impressive.
Yeah, it's so, because it's like, it was kind of like we talked about what was a Pumpkinhead, Erik, with Stan Winston, and he was like the special effects director for Alien, and then he's like, I'm gonna try my directorial debut. But this is like, that's the thing, it's like all action. It's so good. I don't know, I think it's just got it all.
It's grade A. It's like the fillet of action. It's like, this is as prime action as you're gonna get.
The action's incredible. It's got a badass main character with that backstory that anyone can sympathize with. You know, his dead wife gives him a dog to get over the morning. They kill the dog. Like, who's not going to root for a character like that, you know?
Yeah. I always fast forward over the dog scene. Like, as soon as he gets hit with the bat, I'm like, nope, fast forward time, fast forward. And then it's like burying the dog. I'm like, okay, now I can watch the rest of it. I can't listen to the yelp and everything.
Yeah, that yelp is just like echoing.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's terrible. But yeah, Theon, or not Theon, I don't know the actor's name.
Alfie Allen.
He like, people must hate him for like Game of Thrones, and then this. He's just like the most punchable face of the 2010s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is low key like a very underrated actor though in Game of Thrones, but then also in this, he just plays that punk scumbag you just love to hate like so well, you know.
Just like a like backstabbing look to him. I don't know. It just doesn't. Whatever look he has, it's like, I'm a little weaselly backstabber.
Oh yeah, he looks like a punk.
Yeah, and he just plays that like entitled, my daddy's like the head guy so well, and just he's such a douche.
Who's he related to? He's related to someone else famous, like his sister. Or
his sister's a singer.
Yeah, I forgot who. Oh, damn it.
Lizzo.
Sorry, I just snorted. That made me laugh.
One thing I really liked about this movie too, that I guess I wasn't expecting. I was expecting it to just be, you know, I knew it was good going in, expected it to be, you know, great action sequences, you know, martial arts, guns, a lot of the stuff Keanu's known for. But I really loved the like world building they did with the Continental Hotel and how like all the assassins works and the gold coins and all that stuff. They really made this whole underground kind of assassin universe.
The Bitcoins, or the Wick coins, as we can call them.
Well, the concierge guy's name is it Karen or Sharon from?
Yeah, from Latin.
Yeah, I remember like they put the gold coins on people's eyes and stuff, and he was like the guy that
he brings you over the river of Styx.
Yeah, the concierge. I'm a big fan of his too. Lance Reddick. He's in The Wire, Bosch. You know,
was he
pretty well-known TV actor. I think he was in Lost. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was awesome. So like just like menacing, but you're like, what is really going on here? Do they get more into like Assassin's Creed aspect of it in the sequels a little bit though, right?
Yeah, they in the sequels they kind of expand more about not only John Wick's backstory, but the backstory of like Ian McShane's character who runs the Continental and just like the code of the underground assassin universe, like how all that works.
Do we know that Ian McShane is running it in this one, or do we find that on the next one? Or
he runs the Red Circle or whatever, right? Manages that. What is it called? The Red something?
Is that the bar?
Yeah, it's like that group. I guess there's multiple groups. I have not seen the second one. I really haven't.
Oh, you haven't, Erik?
I've seen all three. Yeah, they get into that in the second one when they're talking about how John Wick got out of being an assassin. The Russian guy, I think, is telling Theon, he said he wanted out. He met a woman, so I gave him like an impossible task, which he somehow completed. And they explain that in the sequel, and that's where you get the backstory on like the Red Circle. It's basically like the leader of each faction, like the leader of all the 5 families in the mafia, for example. Just like sitting down, they make all the decisions, they set the rules, that type of thing.
Well, it's cool because, like, yeah, like if you're on that hallowed ground or you can't kill anybody or face like an ultimate price. So, like, is the ultimate price you die? Is that basically it? Like,
well, yeah, they showed that in the movie. The female assassin, the chick from that Friday Night Lights show, tries to kill him in the Continental Hotel.
Right.
And he captures her, gives her to that other guy. She escapes and kills him. So at the end of the movie, Ian McShane.
They give her a firing. They just circle around her and just light her up.
But like, so that's the thing. If you kill there, they're gonna kill you. It's not like you can pay money and get out of that.
Exactly. It's like in neutral territory in the world of the underground assassins. But yeah, you can't commit any assassinations there. Doesn't matter who you are.
That was what I thought was stupid. That woman says to John Wick, they're giving me $4 million to do this. They're doubling the rate. So what is she gonna get the $4 million and then take off forever? Like, that's not that much money to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to think too, people like that would have a means to find her pretty easily.
Yeah,
probably.
the Assassin's Guild, like they're clearly gonna find you. So she's like, "Oh yeah, believe me, it's worth it." It's like, is it? Like that's not that much money. You probably make more doing more assassins. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I feel like before this movie came out, I really did not hear much about it, marketing for it. It was all word of mouth. Once it was out, everyone was like, "You got to see this. It's amazing." But I heard nothing about it. And then you see it, and it has like this tremendous cast. Even the minor characters, like John Leguizamo.
It's true. Like I had no idea this movie existed, and would have come out in like 2014. So I was in New York. Like I don't ever remember hearing about it. And then I feel like it came out probably on like streaming, and then everybody saw it, and it was just like the biggest movie because it didn't make that much in the box office. I mean, it was successful, but it was a $20 million budget and made $86 million. So it's obviously successful, but it's not like blow the roof off the place.
I got my wisdom teeth out, and I remember I was on like painkillers and watching this on the couch, being like, "Whoa, this movie's insane!" Like the scene where they're like punching his stitches. I just remember in my mouth. I'm like, "Ow, my mouth hurts!" Like watching that scene.
Yeah, no, he gets the shit beat out of him. I gotta say, and I think I mentioned this in Point Break too. He is a skinny guy. Keanu Reeves, yeah, I mean, like obviously, I think he's very like technically strong. Like I don't know if he does martial arts.
He actually is a trained martial artist. Yeah.
Yeah, but he does not have like he's like I feel like he would get his ass kicked by like a huge guy. He's not like Arnold or Sylvester Stallone.
Well, he fights. Which one is it where he fights Boban? They have an NBA player where they're fighting in the library. They have an NBA player who came in for the role who's over 7 feet tall, like 300 something pounds. It's like the opening scene in, I believe, John Wick 2, and it's him fighting this like 7 foot tall giant guy, Boban Bogdanovich, I believe is his last name.
Bogdanovich,
yeah. Like I think he obviously is very strong. He's in great shape. He's technically, has great abilities, but still, he's 6'1". He can't be 200 pounds. I mean, he's probably got to be a little bit under that. But he's kicking everybody's ass, like everybody.
And what's so cool too is like, obviously he's using a gun the whole time, but he is so like he doesn't waste a single bullet. Every single thing he does is just like headshot, kill shot, like so clean, efficient. He's not just like brawling his way through. It's like completely technically sound from like a martial arts and a weapons standpoint.
He's like a perfect sharpshooter up until he goes to the bathhouse and Alfie Allen just like runs away easily. It's like, what? Like,
oh yeah, do you think was that glass bulletproof? It had to be. Right?
It's I don't know, because I was like, how do you get away? John Wick is just literally every bullet is hitting something.
Like, yeah. I know, because like, and you also think like he's wet, so he'd probably like slip, and she's
Yeah,
wearing
it's really
towels.
running fast.
Like, yeah, like I'm imagining like even if you had shoes on and you were running, you'd probably still slip out of fear. But like he's like perfectly making it.
I
Yeah,
love that club scene too when they just like goes into the club, and after chasing him and like Alfie Allen's still on his towel, just like running away, and he's just like, dude, I'm too old for this club. Like,
yeah.
Right.
That's the best. Dude, I love these kind of characters like the Punisher and Max Payne and John Wick. These like something is wrong to them and they're just on a mission to kill everybody. I love it.
Exactly. And they do this in such a good way. It's like his wife died, they killed his dog. It's very quickly, they make you want him to just absolutely destroy everybody. And I love this scene where Alfie Allen brings his car to John Leguizamo to sell it. And he's like, that's John Wick's car. And he calls his dad.
Where'd you get that car?
Yeah, calls his dad, and his dad's like, I heard you punched my son. And he's like, yeah, well, he stole John Wick's car and he killed his dog. And his dad, this big Russian mob boss, is just like, oh, and totally understands why.
Yeah, dude.
I love that scene. Just sets the whole tone for kind of what's about to happen. When even the scary Russian mob boss is scared of this guy.
It's one of the best movies to see for the first time, and then watching it like this time, like seeing that line, you're just like, fuck, that's such a good line. I wish I could experience it again for the first time, because you're like, what is happening now? Like, who is this guy? And they slowly build his story. And then when he's taking the sledgehammer to break open the basement thing, I was just like, oh man.
Yeah, that seems awesome.
And yeah, it makes it better too, is a lot of times in action movies like this, the opening scene will be some fast-paced action scene to suck you in and give you like a glimpse of what the character can do. And then it's like 5 years later, it gets into like the plot of the movie, but you already know what he's capable of. Where in this, you don't see any of that. It's just the suspense of all these scary guys are scared of John Wick, and then you finally see him in action.
Yeah,
awesome.
the bullets don't start flying until about 30 minutes in. It doesn't just hit off with action. It's like there's a setup, and it shows that I love that scene with him in the hangar with the Mustang. And he's just driving around. It's like he's retired, but he still needs his like adrenaline fix so he can like sleep at night. I love that scene where he's just like like about to crash into something and stops barely. It's like, oh shit, this guy's retired, but still got it, and he still needs the fix.
Yeah. What do you think is up with the cop? I want to know more about that. Like, what has their relationship been? What has he done for him at some point?
I don't know, but obviously he knows who John Wick is. Maybe he's like one of his inside people that he has protecting him. And that's, to him, his home has to be some sort of safe house. So he probably knows everyone in that neighborhood mostly. I don't know. I really don't know, though.
I kind of just assumed that it was like something had gone down at the house before. So the cop obviously knows John Wick, and John Wick, they have the relationship where he's like, look, I'm going to do my thing here. It's going to be professional. I'm going to keep the peace for the most part. You just mind your own business, and I'll, keep you paid and happy.
And here's a Bitcoin. There you go.
Yeah, because he looks in the room and there's just like dead bodies on the floor. He's like, you working again? Like sort of. Yeah, I love that. But I also want to know, like, how did he explain to his wife like what he does? Because he used to be an assassin until he was in his like 40s basically, and then randomly he meets this woman and she gets cancer and she dies. But it's like, what did he tell her? He's like, oh yeah, I work in like construction or something. Like, what did he?
Probably. I mean, he that's why he left. That's why he worked for Vigo, the Russian guy. And there's a couple plot holes in this movie, but not to ever rip it apart. But he says the line like, John Wick, he did a job for me that was supposed to be impossible. It laid the foundation for this family. Yeah. You need to fill your son in on that so that fate doesn't have you cross paths with him ever. It's like, hey, by the way, like our family is where we are because of this guy, John Wick.
Baba Yaga, yeah.
Baba Yaga. He's the man who called and killed the boogeyman.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Eric. That's probably one thing, but
that is true. And it's also like and now that I think about it, Eric, like if his son is part of the organized crime family, like grooming him to take over, why wouldn't he know about this guy or about this, underground assassin, league, whatever you want to call it?
Maybe it was like the son is like just starting to like get into it. Like maybe he was like such a piece of shit his whole life, an entitled prick, and now he's trying to make a name for himself. Yeah, you're right though. That's kind of bullshit.
They fill it in a little bit in the later movies, just like there's the line where he's like, "I once saw him kill 2 guys with a pencil," and then in forget if it's 2 or 3, you see him kill 2 people with a pencil.
Yeah,
I think it's 3.
Yeah,
at a bar or something.
Billy, is that's not the same Chevelle you have, is it?
No, his car was a Mustang in the beginning.
Oh,
It's
but
like a
didn't
Mach 1 or like a Boss
The,
302 Mustang.
the second car he gets is a 1970 Chevelle.
The
Yeah.
second car is a Chevelle. Yeah, mine's a 71. It was a 70, so the headlights are a little bit different. Yeah, we forgot about that. Love
A Dodge Charger afterwards too at the end with they give him that like management wants to give you this car and it's a Charger.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great choices all around.
Yeah, the fucking sick cars, the action's amazing. I kind of wish there was like better score maybe. That's like the only thing that I'm like this movie just had this like I mean, it's pretty generic action, but if it had that like really I'm trying to think of something it could have been like.
I agree, but like you got to give the director credit. When I was doing my homework for it to come on, it's the only movie he's ever directed are the 3 John Wick trilogies, and then the writer before these movies had never done anything you would have ever heard of. Like very small time. He only had like 3 or 4 writing credits before the first John Wick.
The soundtrack's okay. There's like Marilyn Manson and a few other things. One song I wanted in there was "Get Down with the Sickness," so that I could say "Get Down with the Wickness."
Oh yeah, actually, super quick. This is kind of going off a little weird tangent here, but Keanu Reeves was, his like kind of sad story or whatever. He was like married to a woman. The baby died, and then she got in a car crash and died. Do you guys know about that?
Yeah. Yep.
And that was in like 98 or something like that. So apparently, what happened was the woman after the miscarriage or the stillborn baby, she died after coming home from a party from Marilyn Manson's house. So then the mother of that woman sued Marilyn Manson for being like, you gave her the drugs that made her crash and die. I wonder if that was like weird for Keanu Reeves to be like, you're going to put like a Marilyn Manson song in this and she died coming back from this party.
Wow.
Yeah, I like looked it up because I was just like, I'm like, what was his life like, Keanu Reeves? Like he doesn't have any kids. Like he's like very
well. I knew that happened. I didn't know the Marilyn Manson part, but that's one of the reasons why you hear all these stories about just what a chill, humble, down to earth dude he is. Anyone who's ever met him loves him. He's like on Reddit and everything. They have a whole thing dedicated to him just because he's such a down to earth guy because of his past. He's humble. He appreciates everything. He's not like a star diva.
Yeah. But I wonder if that conversation was like weird where it's like, hey, we're going to put this Marilyn Manson song in there. I wonder if that's like for him, like, hey, can we not? Like, my ex-wife died like coming back from his party. Like, I don't know. I just wonder if that was ever like a weird conversation. Yeah, the music's the only thing I could think of. The fighting's fantastic. Apparently, Keanu does almost all of the stunts in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. That's like Tom Cruise status, but way more in-depth at fighting.
Yeah, it said trivia was he did 90% of the stunts.
That's insane.
It's a lot.
Yeah, especially for a movie like that.
And he's like 50 years old and he's doing fucking 90% of these action movies. That's insane, especially with the guns and everything like that too. Oh my God, that one scene where he like takes the clip out and just whips it against the wall or whatever. Like he does it with one hand, with the pistol.
So cool.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome. I think this is like a modern masterpiece of action movies.
I agree. Like I said before, it has just enough world building outside of John's backstory, but just world building in general. Like after he has the first shootout at his house and he calls the cleanup crew and is like, he's like, I had to clean up. What does he say? Like after a dinner party or something. He's like, how many guests? And it's like this whole code. Everyone knows exactly what they're talking about. He gives him the gold Bitcoins. And they're just like, okay, so this isn't just another assassin movie. There is a little, sci-fi fantasy element, whatever you want to call it, like this fictional world they've created, which I just really like.
He's like, I'm making a dinner reservation for 12.
Yeah,
you're right. It's got like a mythical element to it.
Exactly.
I also like the scene with Kevin Nash plays Francis, the big bouncer at the front of the bathhouse, and Keanu comes up to him and says, you look like you lost weight. He says about 60 pounds, and then he's like, why don't you take the night off? And that's like, I read into that, and that was a code for him saying there's 60 guys inside, which is why John let him leave. Or live. Yeah, so it's like, you look like you lost weight is like code for how many guys are inside.
That's so interesting though, Eric. I had no idea that little code. Yeah, the dinner reservation thing, that's cool. I thought you meant that the Kevin Nash guy was that like fucking huge dude that he shoots in the chest like 4 times and then shoots in the head. You know that guy?
Oh, in the bathhouse too? Yeah, he's like chiseled.
That's what I thought you meant. I was like, dude, that guy he took like 3 fucking shots in the chest and didn't even move. It's just like
yeah, that was nuts. Also, that shot at the first shootout, he has the guy on like the kitchen island and like snaps his neck down. I was like, damn, that was intense.
Oh yeah. Do you guys have a favorite kill in the movie?
There's all of them. I mean, that one's sick. That one's sick.
No, I don't know if I could pick one. They're all just so clean.
Yeah, they're so quick. I love the one that we're at towards the end. He hits that guy with the car, and then shoots up the roof as the guy's rolling over the car.
Oh yeah,
through
Dude,
the
that
sunroof,
was
pretty much.
yeah, it was so good.
You know what who we haven't even talked about yet which is another pleasant surprise watching this for the first time, was Marcus. Willem Dafoe pops in the middle of the movie as John Wick's like mentor, and then you think he's gonna betray him basically, and he saves his ass.
Dude, I love that because he asks him, he's like, "Is this an open contract?" Just to find out if everyone's gonna be going after him. So he's like, "Do I have to protect him? Like, what's going on?" But here's the thing: why didn't he shoot that girl when she was coming in to kill him? Why didn't he just kill her?
He might not have had time, and he probably didn't have a steady shot, but he had a shot near John, so he was like, "I'm gonna at least alert John."
I wondered that too, and I didn't know if maybe he had a history with her too, because obviously her and John knew each other pretty well. Who knows? Maybe he initially didn't want to kill her or something.
What a shitty fucking day though for John. Like he just got he must have killed like 20 guys, got thrown off a roof, stabbed a bunch, then just finally gets sewn up, and then all of a sudden this person just comes in and starts beating the shit out of him again.
It's constantly drinking too to numb the pain.
Is the doctor in?
Yeah, I love that. The guy, dude, that's such a good line where he's just like, "You'll bleed," he's like, "but you'll function," like sort of thing.
And I love that 5 minutes later, he's like on the bed, and the lady is like literally punching that wound, and it like gives me terrible flashbacks to my last time I had stitches in my ear. Like I had a bolster put in my ear because my ear like exploded, and the thought of someone flicking my ear with the stitches in it, I would just crumple to the ground and piss myself crying. To get like whacked in the freshly stitched stitches, it's just like, oh my god, that's so violent. Oh. That's so violent.
I know. Ugh, it's brutal. The other thing about this movie, it is pure video game 101 and James Bond, I guess, whatever, everything. Just fucking kill him. Like, how many times do they have to be like, all right, it's like time up. It's like, we got him. He's like, he just killed your son. They just crashed into him. And then they're like, well, keep him alive. It's like, just shoot him in the head.
Time up, and then I'm going to leave. And then you kill him, and I won't be here for it.
Yeah. Especially when it's like, it's not like he's going after people who don't know him. You get the explanation of his reputation from the Russians, and they're like, yeah, we're just going to tie him up, talk to him, beat him up a little bit, give him, every opportunity to escape.
I know. I mean, listen, whatever. It's so fun, nonstop adrenaline rush. Like, you don't even fucking care. Like, you can let go of some of that crap. Could you guys think of any other actor you would have wanted to play besides Keanu Reeves?
I'll say this, and I know this was originally the concept for it. John Wick was supposed to be way older, like truly a retired guy.
I kind of like that.
So like I wouldn't hate. I mean, it's so Blade Runner-y, but Harrison Ford, like a really like cool. If you could do it good, I think you could work. Picture Blade Runner matching with this movie somehow, but that's a little too similar.
Yeah.
But older guy, like an older, like super actiony guy. I don't know who really.
Maybe like Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Kurt Russell. You can name like a couple.
Kurt Russell might be cool.
Kurt Russell, like retired, would be cool.
But see, the thing is, though, like we said before, he did all of his own stunts. He has like the martial arts background. I've seen video of him training, like doing weapons training with SWAT special forces. Like he is in real life, like a pro with all sorts of firearms. And then I just think also Keanu, and I think in the past, this is one of the things people kind of knocked him for, but he does have that kind of stoic demeanor. His facial expressions don't change that much, but with this character, it works perfectly because he's just calm, cool, cold-blooded the whole time when he's going through and doing this.
The people that we just mentioned, I think, to go off Billy's point, those are like brute tough guys when I think of them. Like, when I think of Keanu, like, I do think he's an action star for sure, like undeniably. Like, look at his resume, but he does not have the action star like body and like attitude that we've kind of come accustomed to. It's more of like you're right, like a stoic James Bond almost is this. He's definitely more badass than James Bond, but he's just like, he's stoic.
I could see this movie too, them casting like a Jason Statham type of actor as well. But like you just said, Alec, he is an action star, but he also has to be like the handsome, likable, kind of smooth talking guy in a lot of his action movies. He's not just that stoic, cold-blooded killer, which Keanu is just perfect for in this role.
Ryan Gosling's another one that comes to mind.
Wait, you guys can hear that still?
Oh yeah,
so loud.
I thought I was muted. My bad.
No,
dude,
dude, I was like, someone got hurt. Like,
it sounds like someone getting thrown down the stairs.
You might have to
He's
keep
got
that
these
in.
really heavy duty bones. He just like flings them and drops them on the ground.
Sorry. But yeah, Ryan Gosling's another one that comes to mind. I know I just mentioned Blade Runner, but Drive. Like I remember like watching Drive with Ryan Gosling. I'm like, oh shit, he'd be pretty cool for this.
Yeah, the ending, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the ending of Blade Runner 2049 kind of has a similar feel of like he just got the shit kicked out of him. He's sitting on the stairs in the rain, and I was like, oh, this is a lot like Blade Runner.
I just watched that like probably 2 weeks ago. And yeah, you know what? Ryan Gosling in Blade Runner 2049, he does have that like stoic demeanor, you know, calm the whole time. So yeah, that is a good comparison for sure.
Yeah. I still think that line, though, is one of the most iconic lines of Keanu's career is when he's like, I'm starting to think I'm back. Like
oh,
that
yeah.
line.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. Hell
dude,
yeah.
that line, I get like jazzed when I hear that. Because I'm like, he's saying it for John Wick, but he's also saying it for Keanu. You know, like he's saying it about himself, kind of.
Yeah.
No doubt, because yeah, like I said before, like I feel like Keanu had become almost a little bit of a joke. He hadn't made a good movie in a really long time, in like probably 10 years. And I mean, I think what was the other movie that came out right around the same time that bombed? 47 Ronin.
Oh yeah,
that came out and bombed big time, and yeah, this movie just brought him right back.
This saved him, and then like Toy Story 4, and then
Story 4. Yeah.
No, but seriously, because he was in that, and people were like, "Oh shit!" And then
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk was such a like kind of letdown, but just the fact that he was attached to it, people were like so pumped. But now the Matrix is coming back. We got John Wick 4 and 5. Like, dude, Keanu's not going anywhere.
Bill and Ted 3 was really funny. I liked it.
I still gotta see that.
You like it
because of him personally, his backstory, and just his reputation as being a great guy. People want to like his movies,
right?
So you know, people want to like him. People want to see his movies.
No, that's really true. Like it really is one of the few actors you're just like, I just like him. Like I just like him. Like with Tom Cruise, you're like, I like those movies, but that guy's fucking weird. But with Keanu Reeves, you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is the #1 guy who he's like universally known as like a weirdo kind of scumbag in real life. No one likes him, but he pretty much never makes a bad movie.
Right. He's like, yeah, he's so creepy, but yeah, that's the thing. Same thing. Does all his action, you know, does his own stunts, everything like that. But yeah, Keanu, you're just like, man, I just feel like he's just like a cool dude.
Yeah.
Shane Falco, man.
Footsteps Falco.
Yeah, I mean that might be, like The Replacements might be one of the last like movies he made that did critically and commercially well.
Nah, that was before the Matrix sequels.
I thought that was like 03 or something.
Was it The Lake House? I kind of like that movie. It's pretty
good.
The
Lake House.
I like it. I like everything Keanu does. I haven't seen 47 Ronin.
I saw 47 Ronin. I actually didn't hate it. It was okay.
Yeah. I could see it being okay, but
I'm glad he didn't do Speed 2. I'll say that.
Speed's another. I like Speed, but that
I like Speed ridiculous. The first one, but I'm glad he didn't do that second one. I was like, this can't be real.
Good call.
This can't
Good
be
call.
real. Yeah. Billy, thank you for coming back on again, man. Really love chatting with you.
For sure.
Yeah, no. Thanks for having me. I'll leave you guys with this. I'm looking at it right now. He's in a movie development, same director as John Wick, called Rain, where he's an assassin that specializes in making his hits look like they've died from natural causes. Same crew, director, writer, everything as John Wick.
Oh, so he's like a hitman, kind of. I mean, well, he's a hitman in this, but I guess more like a stealthy hitman.
Like a cover-up, like a cover-up hitman.
Exactly, like a fixer cover-up type of thing.
Oh, I wanted to ask you guys. So the name John Wick, I was like, okay, so like a wick, a candle lit. What do? You light it? And I was just like, oh, so it's like once you light it, like you get the party started, or like you get the fucking shit started when you light the wick. I don't know. I was trying to think like what a weird name.
Yeah, I feel like it could definitely be like a name he just chose because it has some sort of meaning like that. Like that's not his real name.
John Fuse would be the next one. He lit the fuse of the dynamite, and the dynamite explodes, and it's action.
That's the thing. I thought Fuse was like too on the nose, but I thought Wick was like, oh, okay.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Apparently, it's just named after someone's grandpa.
Really?
That's what I read about. Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
Well, the movie was supposed to be called Scorn, but his name was still John Wick in the movie, and he was just like obsessed with the name. He's like, I think this is a great name, and they just changed the movie to John Wick from Scorn, which I think is great. I think it's better to just do that because it's kind of like Rambo. Like the character Rambo has just overtaken that series, I guess. Billy, thank you again, dude. I know you're not a huge horror fan, right?
Not in particularly. I mean, I'm a movie fan in general, so I watch plenty of horror movies. But yeah, I wouldn't call myself like a big horror buff.
I just
I've seen seen plenty of movies on the list. So
I just told the story in the last podcast about us in the theater. I forgot we were watching, and there was a trailer, and it was like a horror movie, and I hear you like, you couldn't pay me.
I've come around on them more, but I used to just I'd get scared. I'm like, why do I want to just get shit my pants scared? That's not entertaining to me. Like, I don't like it. Now I've come around on them.
We'll get you. We'll get you for one.
I think the movie that kind of turned me around was the Cabin in the Woods. You guys did that one, right?
Oh,
I listened to that one. I love that movie. I watched that, and I don't know, it changed my view of the horror genre, and I've watched a lot more since then.
Damn. Yeah, well, we'll get you in another one of those. And we're also doing a lot of different genres throughout the summer and fall. So we'll definitely get you back.
We're gonna get you.
Yeah, no doubt. You guys ever think of doing any sort of podcast for any of these new Star Wars shows on Disney Plus?
Bad Batch? Yeah.
Who knows?
We might.
I mean, there's going to be a million of them.
It's up to the evil wheel.
Like a week, because like a lot of them are like only 8 episodes, just like a weekly recap type of thing, something like that.
We might have to dip into that. I don't know, Eric. We'll talk. We're gonna chat. All right, what do you say? Spin the wheel, Eric.
Yeah, spin it.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an
Spin
answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Top Gun.
Oh, sweet. We got Nick Leone. He's coming back. He's a huge mega fan, so I'm very excited to have him. We'll see you guys next week for Top Gun.
Top Gun.